Hello, math makers. Thank you for joining me for another lesson on place value. I appreciate you being here. We're going to go through, we're going to start just like we did last time. I do want to do some reviews. If you missed our last video, it was on just the hundreds. Today, we're going to focus in on tens and ones, but I'm still going to do a little review at the beginning because I want to make sure we know what all the different pieces represent. All right, so let's get started. So first we have a 1. This is a 1. Now, if you use these in school, you might see these little place value blocks. This is a 1, so that's a 1. And 10 ones make a 10, and you can see that right here. This is a 10, and it's got 10 pieces to it. Each square on a 10 is worth 1. And again, if you're using these in school, this is a 10, okay? So we can see these all 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 ones. 10 of these makes 1 of these. All right, so next, when you have a 10, 10 tens make 100. So 10 of these make 1 of these because this is 100. And each column or row is worth 10 on 100. So whether you have your 10 like a column going up and down, 10 of those side by side, or you could have them as rows and 10 of those stacked on top of each other. Either way, it's the same because it's a perfect square. And so each row or column is worth 10, and we have 10 columns. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can see 10 columns. And of course, each one is worth 10. So if we counted by tens to 100, we would know 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That's 10, which means 10 of these equals 100. All right. Now, next, so again, we have a 1. Make sure we know these. We have a 10, and we have 100. Now, we also have 1,000. I'm not going to get into those right now. 1,000. 1,000 is a cube, my students noticed this week. And just like 10 ones make a 10, and 10 tens make 100, 10 100s make 1,000. So I want to make sure you're familiar with those. But let's get started counting tens and ones. Again, last video was on just 100s. A couple of things I want to show you today. One is we're going to be adding at the end of each part something called expanded notation. And we're going to explain that when we get to it, but I want you to be familiar. That's a word you're going to hear. And we're also going to use number words. Okay, so we're going to be using the actual number, the real number, expanded notation, and a number word with all of our answers. So let's do this first one together just for practice. Again, we have the tens. And let's count how many tens we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens. So down here on our chart, we're going to put that we have 6 tens. Now, how much is 6 tens worth? We count by 10 how many times? 6. So we can count those. Count by 10. Count with me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So we would put a 60 down below. Next, we're going to count the ones. And remember those little small squares? Those are the ones. We're going to count those. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put a 4 in the ones place. And of course, 4 ones is only worth 4. So we've taken that number and we have 64. So if I were to break 64 up into expanded notation, it would be 60 plus 4 because I have a 6 in the tens place and a 4 in the ones place. And of course, we would put our number word 64. Make sure you put that hyphen right there in between. In our class, we named the hyphen Finn, so when we put it, we can say, "Hi, Finn." So next, it's time for you to do it. You ready? And I'm going to guide you through it, but I'm not going to count on the screen this time. Let's start with the tens. How many tens are there? 3, that's right. And if you have 3 tens, how much are those worth? Count by 10 3 times. 10, 30. That's correct. Next, we're going to count the ones. How many ones are there? 8. And how much are those ones worth? It's just 8 ones. It's worth 8. So if I add 30 plus 8, I'm going to get 38. That's my expanded notation. 38 is 30 plus 8. And what's my number word? 38, of course. Make sure we know how to write it. And there's our friend Finn. Hi, Finn. All right, let's do another one. Let's start with the tens. How many tens are there? 8. That's correct. And how much is 8 tens worth? Remember counting by tens because these are tens. 8 times 10, 20. I'm sure you got 80. That's how much those tens are worth. Next, let's count the ones. How many ones are there? 6. That's right. And how much are those 6 ones worth? Just 6. So when I add 80 and 6 together, what do I get? 86. And what's the number word? 86. All right, let's do another one. And we're going to do a few of these just for practice. I want to make sure you're really good at it. And then we will be done after our practice. Let's start with the tens again. How many tens are there? If you need to pause the video because I'm moving too quick, feel free to do that. 5 tens. And how much is 5 tens worth? We're counting by tens. And they are worth 50. How many ones? 3. And how much are those ones worth? 3. So let's put those together. What do I get? 50 plus 3? 53. And what's the number word? 53. If you've noticed, if you know what the number is and can just say the number, you automatically know what the number word is. The big thing is just making sure you know how to write it correctly. And that's why I'm showing you on all of these, to make sure you know how to write them correctly. Let's start with the tens again. How many tens are there? 4. That's correct. And how much is 4 tens worth? Count by tens. 40 would be correct. Next, let's go to the ones. How many ones are there? 7. And how much are those ones worth? 7's correct. If I put those together, what do I get? 47. What's the number word? 47. Again, we have our expanded notation down here at the bottom. We take 47 and we break it up. 40 plus 7, because we have a 4 in the tens place and a 7 in the ones place. That's what the digits are. How many tens are there? 7. That's correct. And how much are those tens worth? Remember counting by tens still. 70 is correct. I'm sure you're getting this right every time now. And how many ones are there? 2. And how much are those ones worth? 2 is correct again. 70 plus 2 equals, expand the notation, turn back into a real number, 72. What's the number word? 72. That's our last one. I think we are really good and ready to do this on our own now. Guys, thanks for working so hard. You're making math easier just by being here. Until next time, have a great day.